Travel with me almost 1600 years ago to the Three Kingdoms period, which turned into the Joseon Dynasty in Seoul, South Korea. This is called hanbok, which is the traditional garments, and for women, you wear a chogori, which is a short jacket, and it's paired with a high-waisted skirt called a chima. And here they did my hair in the traditional style, and it was so beautiful. And this was the outfit that I rented. These are what is called hanok. So these are the traditional Korean houses that date back to the Joseon Dynasty. They were designed around the idea of harmony with nature. So you'll see that the layout, it flows with the wind. The floors are heated. It's called an ondo system. And the surrounding landscape always makes sure that there's a lot of sunlight. So you'll notice that a lot of the materials are made out of natural resources such as wood, clay, and stone to keep the temperature balanced year round. And those are persimmon trees. It's just so cool to look at. But yeah, the Bukchon itself is where the high-ranking officials and Korean aristocrats used to live between the two royal palaces, which I'm going to butcher the pronunciations as a Korean, which is embarrassing, called Gyeopokgok and Chandokgo. So they weren't simple village homes, but what absolutely blows my mind is that people still live here. So even though Bukchon survived the urban development of Seoul, this particular village was preserved, and so people still live here as private residences. I don't know who is living in these places, but I would love to get to know them. You can also live in a hotel here or go to restaurants where they renovated these spaces. For example, one of the places that we went to was a cafe where they renovated one of the hanoks, and it was really funny because there was a salesperson outside who was enticing us with free food, and they're like, come in for this new makeup pop-up store, and I was like, okay, super weird, but sure, why not, because it's an adventure. And I go into the cafe and we go down this elevator, and I could not believe my eyes. This was the new makeup pop-up store. It was so futuristic. It just clean, aesthetic. I don't even know where to begin. Like, this felt like Sephora times 1,000. And I just loved how I was casually walking around in my hanbok, which was very normal in this village. So after we went shopping, we went back up to get the free odaenguk, which is fish cake soup. And then this is tteokbokki, which is spicy rice cakes. It was so good. So as we were eating in this beautiful cafe, I was looking around, and if I were to imagine my dream future home, I would definitely model it after this architecture because there's something about the big windows, the sunlight, the natural wood, and how you can sit on the floor. Like, you'll notice that there are floor mats. I just love that very traditional Korean and Japanese style. And this is some of the makeup that I bought. I'll show you later. It's one of the best lip gloss I've ever had in my life. But anyway, so we were exploring the surrounding area, and as always, I'm super into Korean street food, so I had to get a bunch of stuff. There's also a lot of local craftsman stores. So for example, there was a flower shop where someone was making these out of, I think, yarn, which was incredible. And there's also a lot of artists where you can watch them paint in real time. I thought that was so cool, and I would have loved to bought one of their paintings. They are also famous for their rice cakes. And then as I was walking around, I discovered this place. I didn't know what it was called, but it's supposed to be it's like where they renovated the Hanok villages to have the modern cafes, restaurants, and areas. And so I thought this was probably one of my favorite parts of Seoul. Like, for example, this is a cafe that you can walk into. Do you see how it has the modern but also traditional architecture? And this is called patbingsu. It's basically shaved ice with condensed milk. And this is me awkwardly trying to film myself eating this because I'm trying to be a good vlogger. But yeah, like when you walk around, you'll notice that dichotomy of super modern cafes inside this beautiful traditional architecture. And I think this is exactly how you do this type of thing, right? Because too much modern is like brutalistic and dystopian, where it's just like concrete buildings with glass windows. But if it's too traditional, then you miss out on a lot of the kind of like innovations. So I love how they had this dichotomy, they nailed it perfectly. Like, I don't even know what this is. I think these are like traditional sand dunes or hills, but it's like paired with a bread cafe, which is obviously not traditional Korean food because these are like croissants, which is like, I think, from France, right? So it's just really cool to see this diverse food experience and just all the different Western influences and how Korea made it sort of theirs. I really liked that. And as you're walking around, the best way to describe the vibe is just funky. Like you look around and you just see just a mix of everything. Like there's this giant like this right here is super cool, but then you look to the left and there's this like giant gummy bear with a vintage Tom and Jerry poster, and then you turn around and there's this ridiculously beautiful cafe that is very clearly European style, but again Koreanified, if that's a word, where they actually like made the pastry so much better. So it's just kind of like these sort of like hidden spots that I absolutely love exploring in Seoul. And yeah, as I was looking around, I just thought, wow, what an amazing day, such a cool adventure. Then I went back home to get home before the sunset, and I was able to look over the river, going over the bridge back to our neighborhood, Kannam. And going back to the very modern and beautiful area here, it just made me realize, like, wow, I am so fortunate because I know a lot of people say that they wish they were born in earlier times, but I think there is no greater time than now. And went home to my loft. This was my view from my apartment. I will never get over it. I absolutely love Korea so much, and I will see you in the next vlog.